Awesome, awesome, y'all. So welcome to virtual Sac State. You're here. My name is Logan Liao. I am one of the student coordinators for the new student orientation program. I'm a communication studies major, minoring in marketing and journalism, and I'm a graduating senior.
All
I'll go
right,
ahead and
let's
turn it
do
over.
it. Hi guys, I am Evelyn. I am the reservations coordinator here for our team at Sac State. I'm a health science major and now a third year student. So welcome. So excited to have you guys. I can't see you guys, but welcome to Sac State.
Yeah, we can feel y'all in spirit. We can feel y'all
Yes.
in spirit. That's awesome, awesome, awesome. Alrighty, everyone. So hopefully you can all see my screen okay. If you can't see my screen in this nice PowerPoint I'm showing. But first, let me and Evelyn just say welcome to Sacramento State, virtually, of course. And you are attending Admitted Student Day 2021. Unfortunately, we can't be in person, but we're hoping we can bring some enthusiasm, get you excited about Sac State, and kind of just give you some more information. We're here to answer any questions you have about new student orientation, but also any questions you have in general. Please feel free to ask them in the end. Evelyn and I are both students. We've been here for a little bit, and we're more than happy to answer any questions you have. Without further ado, let's go ahead and talk a little bit about orientation. All right.
Before we start, can everyone see your screen good? Let us know, please. We want to make sure that you're able to see that the slides are changing and that everything's visible to you guys. Yeah? Okay, cool. All right, you can continue now. Logan.
Awesome. All right, y'all. So one thing that I will say is you are all here attending the first year orientation webinar right now. And so I'm going to assume most of you coming in are first year students. And so our first year orientation is going to be from July 19th through August 5th. Throughout the presentation, we're going to kind of talk about how to register for orientation, what is orientation, and we're going to cover some of the kind of the most commonly asked questions to hopefully give you some information and helpful information. And so what you can see in front of you is our team that we actually had from last summer. So on our left here is our team. This was all of us that worked orientation, the first virtual orientation ever. So it was definitely an emotional moment, and that's us in Zoom right there, keeping the Hornet up, stingers up. But yeah, yeah. So those are the dates, July 19th through August 5th for first year orientation.
Now, this is pretty much kind of like a rundown of the schedule that we created for first year orientation. Of course, this is completely different from like transfer orientation, two different schedules. So for all of our first years here today, this is your schedule. This is what you will be doing for orientation. So as you can see, we have Frosh Night on there. So normally if we were in person, this would be like a 2-day event where we would have these stay over and like the dorms are on campus, get to meet some peers and make connections, make friends. But unfortunately, due to COVID, we just can't make that happen. So with that being said, we're working with what we have now in this virtual world. So we're gonna go ahead and have something like a, what would you say, like kind of like a networking night where you could chime in to Zoom and then get to meet new people that are probably going to be of the same major, hopefully make new connections, kind of make faces. That way, when, we do go back in person, it's not like, oh my gosh, like at least you'll know someone or like a familiar face that you saw through the screen once upon a time.
Right.
But yeah, so pretty much your day will start at 8 a.m. So you're going to check in with your orientation leader. So, yes, it is very important for you to attend orientation because it is mandatory. We want to make sure that you actually really get enrolled into your courses and that you are prepared for as much as we want to prepare you as much as we can for your first year at Sac State. So you'll check in and you'll pretty much meet your orientation leader. So each student will be assigned to their own orientation leader, which is an academically trained advisor. So depending on your major, you will be with that leader for the day. And then you'll go on into major advising. There'll be different activities throughout the day. Also, you will get breaks, lunch breaks. So please don't think that you'll be sitting in the screen like from 8 to 4, like without getting a break. So you will do that. You'll have one-on-one advising. That way you can ask questions to your orientation leader that you may have about your schedule, maybe some preferences or whatever may be on your mind. They'll be there to help you out. Um, and then you'll kind of end your day pretty much registering for your classes. So the day that you do pick for your orientation will be the day that you register for your courses. And then once you're enrolled and you're ready to go, then you'll just pretty much be waiting for the first day of school. And that's about it. Am I missing anything else, Logan?
No, no, Evelyn, you did a really great job. Y'all, we're going to give you some more details on this frosh night just here in a second. But just essentially know that during orientation, you're going to be getting help every step of the way. We're going to give you or our orientation leaders are going to be giving you kind of a, the lowdown on Sac State, and kind of you'll get to know all of the basic knowledge that you'll need to know. You'll get introduced to a bunch of different resources, clubs, and stuff like today as well. There's actually a club fair going on later at Admitted Student Day as well. And then you'll actually be getting advised by orientation leaders as well as major advisors. So they'll be able to help you pick your classes so that at the end of the day, you'll know what classes you'll have for the next fall semester. Uh,
Mhm.
yeah, so that's, no, it's really, really great. And so speaking to this frosh night right here, essentially frosh night is kind of your opportunity, if you'd like, to meet new students and other students that are coming into this semester virtually. And so we're going to be walking you through different exercises and things, so where you'll get the opportunity to meet each other. So you're going to be with other first year students, and you're just going to be going through some fun and interactive facilitated activities together. And so again, y'all, this isn't mandatory. This is optional the night before orientation. But if you'd like to attend, and if you're someone that, you want to meet, some new people and try and break through the Zoom box, so to speak, I definitely recommend attending this. And yeah, there's an example with some of our Froschneiders from the last year. Um, and yeah, I'd also like to just say, if any of you want to see the schedule again, and a lot of the stuff we're covering are actually on our website, on the new student orientation website. Um, and so, yeah, just wanted to go ahead and clarify that. But yeah, that's going to be Frosh Night. Frosh Night, it'll be fun. Awesome.
Yeah, so please come. Please, please come. All right. So our next slide here is the parents and supporters session. So obviously, normally, if it was on person, you would totally be able to bring a parent if they would want to come, or just a guardian, a sibling, whoever you would want to bring along with, and they would be given kind of like their own orientation. So, just like information that would be helpful for like a parent to know, if they kind of want to know more into as to what life will be like in Sac State for you. What are you going to need to graduate? What are the classes that you're going to be taking? Of course, depending on your major, we also have that available. This is pretty much kind of like a schedule for them that we will cover for them. So there's gonna be Q&As, like I said, explaining what you'll need in order to graduate. There'll be major advising. So they'll be able to also meet with like major advisors to ask questions in regards to like your courses, and there'll be different workshops as well. And this is kind of like the rundown for them as well. So if you guys want to take pictures of the slides while we're going, you guys can totally go for that also. This information is also posted on our website. So if you go onto Sac State and you click on that little search bar, type in new student orientation and click on first years, it'll like all the rundown on the schedule will be on there too, just in case you guys want to know more about it or want to recall. So yeah, that's pretty much it. We pretty much are gonna have like their own separate session for Zoom, and I'm so sorry. And pretty much this session will be we're not going to charge parents. So I know normally like for everyone coming in, we charge a fee of 66, which we will explain of how to pay, and but for parents it will be for free.
Right, right. And I think, yeah, yeah, no, you did, yeah, that's good. Y'all, I just want to also emphasize that, one of the reasons we have a separate, um, kind of session for parents, is so that we can best serve you, the students, right? And so we're going to have programming specifically for y'all, for students, and then programming specifically for your parents. So if your parents are in your room bugging, you're like, "What are you doing during orientation?" You can have something to send them off to. We just want to make sure that we take care of all of you to the best of our ability and welcome you into our Hornet family. All right. And so, yeah, that's parents and supporters session. Okay. Awesome. And so now that we've kind of gone through like a little bit and giving you a little bit of information about orientation, we're going to kind of talk about the processes and kind of how you'd register for orientation. Okay. And so we've kind of broken it down into these steps, and I'll kind of go in them into a little bit of detail. All right. And so essentially, you're going to go onto our Sac State website. And when you Google, Sac State sign on, right, you'll see something that says single sign on in the Google search. You're going to want to click on that, and that's how you log on to what we call your My Sac State. This is essentially the one-stop shop. And when and if you attend Sac State, this is where everything is going to be. Everything and anything is going to be here. Your campus email account, the way you access your classes, everything, your student center, the whole shebang. All right. So that's going to be the first step, is logging onto your MySac state. All right. Next thing you're going to do is you'll click Student Center. From there, you'll be able to scroll to the bottom. On the left side, there'll be something that says New Student Orientation, and that's what you're going to want to look out for. Once you click that, you'll be able to select dates and make your orientation reservation. Um, at the end, we'll kind of give you our contact information, and if you have any trouble like with any of these steps, we're here to help you out. But that's just a quick run through of that. And we actually have a video that we can go ahead and put in the chat for how to register for classes at the end of the webinar, if any of you would like that. All right. Awesome. 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 So that's how to register for orientation. Evelyn, you want to go ahead and talk about how we're paying for orientation?
Sorry beforehand. I just want to say sorry for the parent session slide. I was getting like calls on my phone, and we know how Macs work. They like everything goes off all at once. So I'm so sorry about that. And I was like, how do you turn it off? Okay, but anyways, how to pay for orientation. So you will go onto your student center as well. And once you're on the student center, you will see a link more so like on the left hand side of the page, mid range of the page, and it'll say kind of I think it's account yes, account inquiry. So once you click on that link, you will go ahead and follow on to the next step, which will say make an online payment. And once you click on there, it'll go ahead and take you to making the online payment, which is the fee of the $66. And I think that is pretty much it. Also, we did provide here a link to like our YouTube. You can see our YouTube channel that we have for orientation. It's pretty much sorry, it was like losing connection there. It's pretty much a YouTube channel where it shows you kind of like a step-to-step process with like your student center. So it helps you navigate your student center. And so I would really recommend for you to go onto this YouTube video. That way you can really get a virtual, like not a virtual, sorry, and like just kind of like a rundown as to how you can navigate your student center, and then what's in there for you to use pretty much.
Awesome. 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 Yeah, so that's in terms of paying for orientation. And another thing that we want to talk to y'all about is when you're going through these steps, when you're making your orientation reservation, you pay for orientation. One thing that we really ask y'all to do is complete your Hornet pre-orientation. Okay, y'all are wondering like, why do I need to do a pre-orientation before I go to orientation? Isn't that what orientation is for? The reason we have pre-orientation is, especially in this virtual world, y'all, things get confusing, right? We start sharing screens here, sharing screens there. It's madness, right? And so one of the things we'll have you do is complete this short activity. It's our pre-orientation, and essentially it'll take about 40 minutes, but it'll walk you through kind of all the stuff that you'll see at orientation. So when you're going in, you'll kind of know the lingo we're talking about, and you'll kind of be up to speed, so to speak. And so this can be accessed by logging into your student center, like we were mentioning, and then looking under important links. And under that, it'll say something called Hornet pre-orientation. Okay. And again, it covers everything from the academic side of things, majors, to how to pay for college and other student programs, support programs, resources we have for you. So that's going to be something huge that we do ask you to complete before orientation. And yeah, so that's Hornet pre-orientation. Um, And then Evelyn, you want to talk about the welcome packets?
Yes. And so we do have a few surprises for you guys once you guys are done with orientation. So with that being said, I said again, go on to your student center. Your student center and your emails will be your best friends right now. So please visit those often. They have such important information on there. And also you can find what the way you can find the contact information that we need you to update will be towards the bottom of the student center page. So once you're on your student center, you'll just go all the way down and you'll find like your contact information with your email, with your phone number and your address. So if you could please update those maybe like today or within the next week or so, that would be awesome because that's going to be like our way to contact you if we need to send you anything, if we want to send you something important, like for instance, for in regards to orientation, please make sure to put the email there that you visit the most or that you have all of like your school stuff related to. So yes, please do that. That way we want to make sure that we don't leave you left out and that you're included for everything.
Awesome. Awesome, awesome. Yeah, we got some goodies for y'all and those mail-in packets. And we're just starting to wrap up, and so I see some questions in the chat, so we'll go ahead and answer those just in a second. But one thing that we will say is to follow us on our Instagram, and here's why. We got Sac State 2025 official. You can just hold up your camera to the barcode, and it'll scan it for you. But we're living in crazy times. Things are constantly changing, and I'm sure you all have questions. A lot of you have questions about, is orientation going to be virtual in person, right? Our class is going to be in person or virtual, and we're here to answer those questions and give you live updates as things are constantly changing. And one of the great ways to do that is following us on our social media, so we can get that messaging out to you. Also, we got some fun stuff going on in there as well, so we highly recommend you go ahead and give us a follow. But yeah. Also, for those of you who don't know, this is actually our mascot, Hercules T. Hornet. We call him Herky for short. The common things, first impressions people usually get is, man, he's ripped. Yeah, he is. This is, look at him. He's pretty ripped. But yeah, that's our mascot, Herky the Hornet, and potentially your mascot. So yeah, yep. Awesome. And now we are here at the question slide, and we're going to begin to start answering your questions. So go ahead and put them in the chat, put them
Um,
in the Q&A
very,
box.
very quickly, Logan. Sorry, I'm gonna make you. Can you please go back to the slide with how to pay for orientation really quick?
Yes.
I just remembered right now that I missed something.
Oh,
Um, I'm so sorry, guys. For that bottom part for the fee reduction form, we understand right now it's like very difficult. It's very difficult times right now to like do payments and all that kind of stuff because of COVID. There's just so many things that could happen. So with that being said, we do offer a fee reduction for orientation. The fee is $66, but if you do, you can go ahead and take a picture of the slide. That way you can use that QR code and access it later on. So once you go ahead and access that, you can fill it out and then what you can send it to the email that we're about to share towards the end of this slide right now. And this will cut the fee in half to $33. So if you qualify, obviously this form will be revised. And then from there on, we will reach back out to you and say, yes, you did qualify, just paid $33 versus the 66. Just a quick little note that I forgot to mention there. Okay, now we can answer all the questions. So sorry.
awesome, awesome. I'm going to go ahead and stop sharing my screen so we could take a look.
Let's see. So I think we should start with Tiffany. Says here, all right, says here, if your orientation is with EOP, will they be helping with registering us with the classes that we'll need? Logan, do you want to answer that?
Yeah, totally. So here, let me go ahead and take a look. Sorry, I was looking at the Q&A. So yes, so Tiffany, basically, if you are an EOP student or you're part of the EOP program, you'll be going through orientation with us to kind of get the nuts and bolts about Sac State. But in terms of with the advising component, you'll see a major advisor, but EOP will be taking care of you in terms of registering for courses. And they'll be sure to reach out to you through your Sac State email, which you can access through your My Sac State. And so, yeah, hopefully I answered that question okay. If I didn't, please feel free to ask another question. Taking a look at Kiara's question in the chat, do we have to complete pre-orientation before we register for actual orientation or just before your orientation day? And so that's an excellent question. And so we do ask that you complete it before your orientation day. You can register and then, you can let it sit. I know sometimes, you're like, oh, I don't know if I want to do it, but just make sure that you do it the day before your orientation, just so you know kind of going in what to expect. And so that's a great, great question.
Yeah, and
Um,
just to add on to that, again, you can complete your pre-morning orientation by going onto your student center. Now, this will be found on the right-hand side of your page when you go onto your student center. Towards the very bottom, will say pre-Hornet orientation. So do complete that. Just because you do complete that doesn't mean you completed your orientation. Orientation's completely different. Also, this is completely different. So please don't think that by coming to admitted day, you're completed your orientation already, because this is just kind of like an informational meeting that we want to like share with you guys. That way you guys can make sure that you guys are registered for orientation and are good to go.
Yeah, don't worry, you can't get rid of us that easy, y'all. Um, but looking at Kiara's other part of her question is about when will you be receiving your school email? And so, seeing as how once you're if you're at the part where you've been admitted to Sac State, first off, congratulations. But you'll be able to log into your student center on the right side. It'll be something like a Microsoft Outlook. It'll be like a blue icon, and when you click on that, that's your Sac State email. If you go through the settings there, you'll be able to see exactly what it is. But if you've been admitted to Sac State, you will already have a school email,
Mhm.
and that can be accessed through your My Sac State.
Yeah, so just like Logan said, once you access your MySec state, you'll type in your username and your password, and then it'll take you to this kind of like web page where on the left side you'll see like student center. There you go. That's Thank you for pulling that up. And then you'll find that little box over on the right side that says your email. That'll take you directly to your inbox. And then obviously if you click on your profile, you'll be able to see what exactly your email address is for
Mhm.
as far as this school goes. Usually it's like your first and your last name at csus.edu most of the time. Sometimes you'll have like a little number there on the side, so just check it out.
Right, right. Just to answer one of the questions also that we saw in the chat, this recording will be available to all of you. Um, our folks over at Admissions will be blasting y'all with an email and letting you know that you'll be able to find these recordings on their website. All right, so that's a great, great question. Um, let's see. I'm going to go ahead and answer Kimberly's question. Can incoming freshmen be involved in clubs? If so, where and when do we start? And so, Kimberly, that's a great question. And so, one of the crazy things with being virtual is like, like, how do I join clubs? How do I do these? So, we actually have an organization on campus called Soul. There are student organizations and leadership. And so, they take care of all of our club stuff. And so, if you were to Google Sac State clubs, for example, or if you were to find them on Instagram, I'll go ahead and put their Instagram handle in the chat. But they basically do a lot of stuff with clubs, and a lot of clubs are doing things virtually. And so, um, basically there's also something going on today at admitted student weekend right now, where you'll actually be able to kind of meet some of the clubs, so go ahead and look through that and see on their website if they have some programming, but you could start as early as today just to see what kind of clubs are out there. No, so that's a great question. um,
All right, let's see. Okay, next question. So this question from Kiara says, also the first slide says that orientation begins July 19th, but on my student center it says I can register for June 19th. So the reason that you're seeing that is because obviously when we start orientation, we also have to open up classes in order to register students as they're coming in for orientation. So pretty much the reason why you're seeing that is because freshmen will get to register for classes starting June 19th all the way to August 5th. So with that being said, since the system is open for students to register for classes, then our orientation will be held during that period. Does that make sense? So let's say so the system, since it will be open during that time and your orientation's on, for example, June 20th, then you'll go ahead and join in onto orientation, and that day you'll get all your advising done, you'll do activities, and then you'll also get the chance to register for your courses that day. Does that make sense? Say yes, thumbs up, whatever works. Just so I could make sure that I did answer your question. Let's see. Our next question here is the campus open for tours? Logan, do you want to answer that? I know you know a little more information
Yeah.
about that.
Yeah, totally, totally. Yeah, so campus isn't open for tours and that we're actively doing tours in person on campus. We have on our YouTube channels some virtual tours. On the orientation YouTube channel, we have a virtual tour. But then we also have our campus tours and admissions. They actually are walking students through virtual tours, and that can be found on their website. So if you Google Sac State Campus Tours, you'll go to their website, and you'll be able to take a look at something that says prospective student tours, and you can actually take a look at the tour schedule. And I'm going to go ahead and I'll put that link into the chat for those of you who are interested in taking a guided virtual tour. But unfortunately, the campus right now isn't open for in-person tours. Um, Hopefully, I was able to answer that one.
Mhm.
That's a good question.
All right, next question here says, is orientation in person or virtual? So this will be virtual. Unfortunately, I wish I'm sure Logan says the same. I wish everything was in person because definitely it would be a whole different experience. But with everything going on, orientation will still be virtual. With that being said, once you do register for your orientation, you pay your fee, you do your pre-Hornet orientation, um, you will pretty much just wait for us to contact you a few days prior to your orientation. We're going to send you a really important email with a description again about orientation and kind of like the rundown. There'll be an image, like a introduction video attached to that email where you will meet your orientation leader for the day. And then there will also include a Zoom link. So everything will be done through Zoom, and just pretty much watch for that once you're done with, again, your pre-Hornet orientation, signing up for orientation and paying for the orientation also.
Right, right. No, that's awesome. And to answer Soto Santiago, your question, in terms of how to pledge yourself to Sac State, and if you're ready to commit to Sac State, you should have received an email, but there's something that we call an intent to enroll. So if you go ahead and Google right now, Sac State intent to enroll, it'll bring you up to our Student Services Center page, and not our Student Service Center, apologies, a PDF of basically how to submit your intent to enroll. And so it's essentially walking you through steps. Well, you'll go through your My Sac State, you'll go under admissions, and there'll be something that says submitting your intent to enroll or accepting admission. So go ahead and Google Sac State intent to enroll, and there'll be a PDF that you can pull up, and that'll give you the exact step-by-step with some visuals for you as well. Um, Taking a look at the other questions, in terms of financial aid, we do offer work studies, but it's kind of on a case by case. And so for that one, I recommend that you reach out to our Student Services Center. Um, Again, if you search up Sac State Student Service Center, we call them our financial aid office. That's kind of like the lingo we use. But they'll actually be able to answer that specific question for you. Um, Awesome. We got a thumbs up from Kiara. And then with this question from Valeria about why orientation has a fee. Yeah, y'all are probably wondering, right? What is this $66 going towards? And so first part of it, y'all know that welcome packet that we're showing. We're going to be including a lot of stuff in there, a lot of fun things for you to kind of like, get you excited about Sac State. One of those things being a student planner. We have a new one for all of you, but it'll basically, if y'all like planners, but it'll also have all the information that you'll need, to be successful at Sac State. That's one of the things, one of many things that we'll be sending in this little goodie bag. So as part of the fee will go towards there, but some of the other things the fee covers are for the staffing for orientation. We have over 50 plus orientation leaders coming in, and we're working with other different campus programs that will require, part of that fee. And so that's kind of what goes into it. Evelyn, am I missing anything with the fee?
In addition to that, there's a lot of programming that goes on behind the scenes that obviously everything costs money. So unfortunately, it's just like everything I promise that, you're paying for, we're making sure that your money is worth, because we really want to take care of you and make sure that you start off on a good note at Sac State and that you're prepared, even though everything's in a virtual format. So that's kind of why we have um, the $66. But again, if you are in a situation where you're like, I just can't pay it, it's rough right now, we totally understand and we get it. That's why we do offer the fee reduction form that again cuts it in half. So instead of paying $66 will be $33. And then if you weren't able to take a picture of it on with the little QR code in our slide, you can find it on our website again by going to the Sacramento State website, going onto the new student orientation by searching us up. And then once you click on like first years, you'll be able to see under pay and register, and you'll find the fee reduction form there for first years. So if you qualify and everything is processed through, then we'll notify you, like I said, and then that will be the amount you pay instead.
Right, right. Awesome, y'all. I'm gonna go ahead and throw something in the chat right here. This is our website, so new student orientation website. And so one of the other questions that I saw coming from Kelly, so can we not sign up for orientation until the 19th of June? So to answer your question, Kelly, for our first year students, you basically have until June 25th to register for orientation. Registration for orientation will close the 25th of June. So you have until then to register for orientation. I'd also like to reiterate that orientation is something that's mandatory. It is it's important just because this is where you'll be going to get your classes, but it's also going to be your introduction to Sac State. We're going to make sure that we really take care of you, and we're not going to waste the day away. We're going to make sure that we give you everything you need, and not just talk your ears off, right? So you can have fun. And feel welcomed into our Hornet family. So hopefully that answers your question. You have until June 25th to register for orientation.
And then the next question on here is orientation dates based on our majors? And yes, it is. So pretty much when we're prepping everything for orientation, we ask the departments like, hey, when can you join us for orientation? Or what are the dates available? What works for you? So, like child development majors will come on different days, English majors will come on different days, bio majors will come on different days. So it just ranges, honestly. You can also find this again in our website. There's a bunch of helpful information on there. Logan, do you want to pull up where they can see like what majors are coming what day? That way they can see
Yeah,
where to
yeah.
find it.
Let me see if I can pull it up on our website real quick.
It's just easier to see it. I mean, it's neat that Zoom offers, well, this webinar offers a share screen, which is cool.
Mhm.
Meanwhile, let me look into other questions. Meanwhile, Logan gets that pulled up.
I've got it.
Okay.
Awesome. I'll go ahead and share my screen real quick, y'all.
And yes, registration for the fee for registering for orientation is $66. And that will pop up as soon as you register for your orientation on your student center. And again, click on account inquiry. That way you can pay it online.
Awesome.
All right.
Yeah, but y'all, I'm showing right now the days that your major will be attending. And so if you know your major, awesome. So these would be the days that that you'd want to attend orientation. So if you're an anthropology major, for example, we only are offering one orientation date for our majors like that. If you are a bio major, you can see we get a lot of bio majors, so we'll offer more dates. The dates will be here. And again, this can be all accessed through our website, the link that I just put in the chat, okay? And yeah, if I scroll through here, you'll see some of our popular major. I noticed we had some criminal justice majors in here earlier. We'll have the dates listed there for you, and so forth. So yeah, basically, your orientation days, you're going to be grouped with students. Oh, sorry, my screen's acting weird. But you'll be grouped with students based on your major. And so everyone that you'll come into your Zoom room with from orientation will be your major. And it'll be a really great opportunity for you to meet people if you'd like to. You already have one commonality. You'll have a bunch of things in common. You'll be first year students. You'll be coming in with the same major, and we're going to do our best to make it as fun as possible for all of you. Um, awesome, 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 awesome. I did notice a question about dorms. So in terms of when is the deadline for dorm fees and registration, Oscar, that's a great question. And so I've got our housing website up on my screen now. I'm going to go ahead and drop it in the chat for you. But if you take a look at their Sac State Housing, I think housing might actually have a presentation going on today. I'm not sure if they do, but I'm going to go ahead and drop this in the chat for you, Oscar, so you can have that. But they have the dates kind of towards the bottom. But yeah, I'm going to go ahead and put this in the chat for you. Yeah, I'll have the dates in the bottom for you. So that's for Oscar for dorm fees. Evelyn answered registration for orientation.
Here, will the email for orientation be sent to our school email or a personal email? So it's whatever you have on that contact information. in your student center, the email there that you provide for Sac State to reach out to you, that's the one we're going to be using. So if you just want to use your CSUS, update it to your CSUS as like a primary email contact for you. So go, I would recommend for everyone to go on their student centers right now. That way you can just do it right now and get it done with. And update it to either your CSUS or a personal email that you visit often.
Awesome. 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 Taking a look at this other question here. Yeah, so the orientation that we're talking about is separate from the one that you did virtually. So you might have completed your Hornet pre-orientation already, which is awesome. But the orientation that we are talking about is going to be a kind of a one-day event where you'll come in and we'll walk you through the basics of Sac State, and then we'll help you. You'll get to talk to a major advisor, and you'll do some other fun stuff with us. So that'll be live on Zoom when you register. Yeah, so it's separate from the pre-orientation. Um, so that's a great question. Peyton, your question about, so you don't need to live in the dorms as a first year student. That is not required. The dorms right now, or we like to call them our residence halls, they're kind of at a limited capacity due to COVID-19, and so yeah, but you won't need to live in them as a first year. Not required, not mandatory. Um, yeah, y'all, please feel free to drop the questions. We have about we'll stay on for about I think about 5 more minutes, right, Evelyn, to answer some
Yeah,
questions that
yeah,
they have.
perfect. And then
Um,
let's see, we have one more with here with Melanie. Would you guys suggest living in dorms your first year or getting your own apartment with a roommate?
ooh,
I did live in the dorms my first year. Obviously, it's a completely different experience. I don't know right now, like 100% how it's gonna go with everything being online. But it was a great experience, honestly. Now the roommate that I have, I actually met at orientation, and she's like my best friend. So we like met at orientation, and then we were like buddies throughout our time there at the dorms, and then we branched off into getting an apartment. I would say though, if you already have a group of friends that you're gonna come to Sac State, you already know of people that would totally be able to get an apartment with you. I think that would be awesome too. I can drop a few apartments here that I know that are like student friendly and that offer like shuttles to go to campus every 30 minutes if you don't have a car of your own, or if you just want to have that dorm experience, then you guys are more than welcome to do that as well. It's all up to what you guys really want to do.
mhm,
But I'll drop a few buildings on the chat here that are like apartment student friendly. That way you guys can check out their website, or if you guys can make a drive to SAC and see if maybe they offer any tours so you guys can check them out. That would be cool too. So
right.
let's see.
We also have the Hornet Commons. It's a new residence halls section that's being built on Sac State. It's massive. It's going to be fully updated. So that's something to definitely look forward and excited for. Um, Kind of sticking on the terms of the residence halls. Um, in terms of if you fill out the application for the dorms, are you required to attend after you submit? And so that Moises, that's kind of a specific question. I don't want to answer it just because I'm not 100% sure, but I'm going to go ahead and give you the email for our housing department uh, and our residential life people. And you can check on their website, but I'm fairly certain that after you submit the form, there is a process that you can do to opt out, so to speak. But please feel free to email our housing department and just to be sure. And let me make sure I didn't miss any questions. I see Kiara's question about, let's see, how do we know which forms like transcripts still need to be submitted? And then it's a two-parter. You got a two-parter in here. And are the dorms generally quiet? Oh gosh, these are two different questions. Um, but in terms of how do you know what forms you'll still need to submit, if you go to your MySac State, y'all been talking about MySac State all this time. Let me go ahead and I'll share my screen real quick so y'all remember what I'm talking about. Um, Essentially, I think this is a rule of thumb for anything. This will hopefully answer some other questions as well. Any If you have any concern about not completing anything or missing anything, the two biggest things, y'all, you just need to make sure you check your student center and make sure you check your Sac State email. And so these can be both accessed by logging on through here. Um, and to specifically answer your question, if you need to know if you need to require any other forms, when you click on your student center, it'll actually tell you under a section called holds and to-do list, and it'll say if there's anything else that we need from you at Sac State. We'll also email you through your Sac State Outlook email, and so you'll want to be checking through there as well. Um, so hopefully, Kiara, that answered that question. Um, but then in terms of the dorms are quiet, I'm sure Evelyn has a different experience than I did in my first year. But the dorms they were fairly quiet. I mean, okay, Friday nights, Saturday, I mean, naturally, we don't have classes then, so it's like people might get a little bit louder, right? The boys in the room next to you might be playing video games and freak out, right? But generally, I'd say it's fairly quiet. They even have Evelyn, what are the hours called? They call it like off hours or whatever. What is it called?
I think they're called off hours. It's been a minute, but I can't remember like exactly what they were. But I think they were called like off hours or quiet hours. You would say like,
Quiet hours.
yeah, I think it was quiet hours,
Yeah,
like
yeah.
where you just weren't allowed to be like super loud because obviously like you had school the next day or if you had homework or like a big test, that's where like the RAs like your you could say your little what is it like floor leader you could say
Yeah,
would take where
RAs,
they step
resident
in and be
advisor.
like yeah,
Mhm.
so they'd be like gotta keep it down, there's people around here that are going to class that need to get their rest, so that's pretty nice, but obviously like Logan said, Fridays, Saturdays, that's when it would get a little bit more louder just because
Mhm.
obviously it's the weekend, there's no class. So
Right, right. And y'all, as we are starting to wrap up here, we're gonna have to let y'all go. But what I will say is, thank you all so much for those of you who stuck
yeah.
around and attended. If you have any questions about orientation, we threw our email in the chat. But if you go to our website, you'll be able to find our email there and ask us any questions you have about new student orientation. Also, please follow us on our social media to stay updated on everything. Y'all were great. Um, and Tamia put in that housing has presentations until 2, and they said it was very helpful. So y'all definitely check out some of the other presentations that are going on during Admitted Student Day today. And like always, if you have any questions, let us know. Welcome to the Hornet
Yes.
family, I think. Yeah.
Welcome to Sac State. And please email us if you have any questions. We don't want you guys to feel lost or any doubts or anything. Please email us. We're really good about answering emails back and we try to get back to you guys as fast as we can. So please email.
Awesome. All right, y'all.
Keep us busy.
Yeah. All right, y'all. Hope you have a great rest of your weekend. Thank you for joining us. Stringers up. We'll see you later. Look forward to seeing you.
Bye guys.